decided that I would just do this video now, even though I'm probably going to be releasing it after my review of Batman v Superman. But I just thought, you know, since I know which team I'm on, I might as well wear the hat. Recently, there have been rumors going around in the Arrow community that the death that has been sort of been one of the major hook and reveals of this past season is going to be none other than the critically and fan-hated Laurel Lance, aka the Black Canary. Now, I am pissed, and I will be extremely pissed if this ends up being true, even though I'm sure a good chunk of the fandom would rejoice to see Laurel gone and gone for good. The reason why these rumors have sort of come around is that it seems to be hinting towards it being someone close enough to Oliver to matter, but not close enough that, or not liked enough, I would say, that it would create a big drama, i.e. Felicity. Now, this has led people to say it was either going to be Felicity's mother, Donna, or Quentin, or lately Laurel. And recently there have been pictures taken from the shooting that show Alex Kingston, who plays Laurel's mother, at the funeral, which indicates that it's probably a Lance, because she would not be attending Donna's funeral. And even though Quentin should be up to bat to go if they are going to kill a Lance, they have fucked over Laurel so much throughout the series, it is definitely no shock or surprise that they would decide to do one final screw over and just get rid of her entirely. Now, as someone who really likes Laurel and has liked her for a long time, in spite of weak writing and the fandom being completely and utterly irrational about her character, if this happens, it will be, one, just incredibly stupid, and two, it will be my final break between me and the show. While I love Diggle and I love Nyssa and I am fond of Felicity, if only for the actress's great ability to be charming and capable in the face of terrible, awful, and cliche writing for a female love interest, Laurel has been a huge attachment to me because I love the Black Canary. Black Canary is one of my favorite characters in DC Comics. She's been since I used to watch the Justice League cartoon when I was younger. And part of the reason why I even got into Arrow and wanted to watch Arrow is because the Black Canary character was going to be here. And while Laurel's journey to becoming that character has been, we'll get to it, she is the Black Canary now, and she is coming into her own as a character. But the writers are not giving her enough to do. The fandom will reject anything that she does because she's just the worst to them. And it's frustrating because we have a character who has been through one of the biggest character growths, character journeys since the series began, and yet the writers are willing to kill her off because she's not liked. And that's really what it comes down to. It's not about the character not being able to go somewhere else. It's not about necessity. It's about the fact that they can kill Laurel off and they know people will like it. It's the same reason why we have Felicity. Because there's no reason why we should have Felicity besides the fact that the fandom wanted it, and it's a CW show, and they do what fandom wants in Arrow and The Flash, and it's tired and it's stupid. And I think it just shows what's so wrong about the female writing on The Flash and Arrow. And I think as someone who's been going through, like, I've been watching Daredevil, watching Jessica Jones, watching even Supergirl, which has a lot of problems but writes female characters fairly well. It just comes to show me, without a doubt, that the problem that beckons with Laurel, with Felicity, with Iris, is that these writers are 1000% incompetent at their jobs. They do not know how to write female characters, and the only reason why some of these female characters are liked is because they have nothing going on in their lives, and therefore we can project onto them what we feel, or they're given a set of checkpoints of like, oh, they're sciencey, they're nerdy, they're cute, and that's it. There's no depth to them, there's no great ability that they're being shown, their talents are often hand-waved over. I just wrote a post on Tumblr that, like, Karen on Daredevil, we get to see her research, we get to see her investigate. It's not just like, hey guys, I was investigating at the Punisher's house and I found these things. We get to see her go on that journey, and the writers on The Flash are just not committed to that. The writers on the Arrow are just not committed to that. I mean, Felicity was fucking paralyzed only for drama for Oliver, and you can tell that that's what it is, because as soon as she's paralyzed, what happens in a couple episodes later? She can walk again. When it's her and Oliver having a fight. It's pathetic, it's sad, it's stupid, and it just shows how sexist and problematic this writing is. And I think talking specifically about Laurel Lance, the problem with Laurel's character writing, in my opinion, as someone who loves the character and loves the Black Canary, is that from the very, very fucking beginning, she should have been the Black Canary. Because the Black Canary in the comics is a legacy character. Dinah Drake was the mother, Laurel Lance was the daughter. And so Diana, who would be Laurel in this case, adopted her vision from her mother, which is kind of what they tried to do with the whole Sarah Laurel thing, except it does not work. Because you're essentially replacing one with the other, not letting the other one grow into the other one. But that's another situation that is also ridiculous. But from the very beginning, Dinah in the comics is, a master fighter, a master arms person. She has the ability of the Canary Cry, which they didn't want to do because they wanted to be gritty and realistic in the early seasons, because they were a comic book show that was afraid of being a comic book show, much like the Nolan movies are Batman movies that are afraid to be Batman movies. Just they want to be noir dramas, which, if that's your prerogative, fine, but you have to understand what you're taking away and leaving from the source material. But from the very beginning, Diana, aka Laurel, should have been a great fighter, or at least a really good one on par with Oliver. If you want to say, tying it in, the city being crap is what made her be a lawyer. Why couldn't the loss of her boyfriend and Sarah the first time prompt her to wanting to take that extra mile away? Her being a vigilante in the very beginning would have solved so many issues with the character, because one, it would have shown that she already had those abilities, which I will admit season 1 kind of hinted at. Season 1, Laurel was 10 times more capable than she was when she actually became the Black Canary in season 3, which I have always cited as one of my biggest gripes with the show, is that they completely just decide that once Laurel's not the love interest for Oliver anymore, that her character can no longer be consistent or be capable at anything. She just has to be shitted on the entire time. Since the 80s, Black Canary, in the incarnation that we mostly know, has been a capable character. She has been her own hero. She's been part of the Birds of Prey. Yes, she's also part of Team Arrow, but her strength in comparison to Oliver is equal. She is even a better fighter than Oliver. She is his equal. She is not his side chick or his token chick friend. Like, that's his girlfriend on again, off again, and they're married in some canons, but Dinah is not less to make Oliver more. They are equals overall in their relationship. And that has never been the case on Arrow. Laurel and Oliver have never been equals. And in the very beginning, that makes this problematic. Because Laurel is supposed to be her own person and her own character, because that's what she's based upon. And that's what's so frustrating about this, is that the show makes every single woman's abilities and powers revolve around their connection to Oliver's penis. With Thea's case, it's just the fact that she comes from that family line. Like it was with Sarah, with Laurel, with Huntress, all of these characters who are based on people who are great fighters and great warriors on their own cannot be that way until Oliver comes and makes them better. Even with Sarah, the only reason she gets to go to Nanda Parbat and do anything like that is because she was on that boat with Oliver in the first place. Their stories are so interwoven with Oliver that they cannot be their own people. Of having her be in the dark for 3 seasons, of having her not be the Black Canary for 3 seasons, all of that just shows that they did not understand the character from the very beginning. That they thought that this whole bullshit with her addiction and everything was a way of endearing her character, shows that they do not understand their audience. And the fact that they decided to make her be just this average, everyday layperson when she's a superhero. Like, that's the thing. Black Canary has powers. Black Canary is a superhero. She is not like Lois Lane or Iris West, someone who was a supporting character to someone else. Black Canary is her own superhero. She's a member of the Justice League, okay? She is an important person. She is not just Oliver's love interest, and to treat her as such is a disservice to the character from the very beginning. And probably the biggest issue with Laura's characterization in the show is that they never respected the fact that she was always supposed to be as good or equal to Oliver. That was the character that she came from, and they never were committed to having that be the character. They always wanted Oliver to be number one, the best, the baddest, and that was it. Everyone else has to fall in line, and that's not the way that these shows and the comic book world works. Unless you're Superman or Batman or Wonder Woman. Those are the only three when people are like, you do this, you fall in line. Everybody else are part of a larger team. And you know, it would have been great. She could have been the vigilante. She could have been in conflict with Oliver in that first season. And you could have still had all the same beats. You could still have the issue with Tommy. You could have still had the two of them having that sexual tension and chemistry. But what she would have had, like I said before, is them being equals. Thea could come around later and be the newbie, and she wouldn't need a dead sister to inspire her. She wouldn't need Oliver to inspire her. She would be strong and capable for her city, because that's what Laura was basically trying to do in the first season. And they just dusted their hands of that. And instead of letting her be strong and powerful, they reduce her, they malign her, they give her shit writing, they give her nothing to do. They replace her with two other blonder people because that's what the fans wanted in the eyes of the writers. And so they thought, alright, people don't like Laurel, let's give Sarah and Felicity a shot. We'll see which one he likes more, and we'll give that one to him. Because that's what it is. You know, that's why, in my opinion, they didn't just kill Sarah so that Laurel could be the Black Canary. That the function of that season and the Laurel, Sarah, Felicity thing was to see which character the audiences liked the most and push them to be the love interest and get rid of the other two. And since Laurel was always billed as the female lead before the fan didn't like her, they couldn't get rid of Laurel because she was contractually obligated, but they could get rid of Sarah. They didn't need another girl. And that's why Sarah was gone. I don't see it as anything deeper than that. And to me, if they plan to and kill off Laurel, then I'm done with Arrow. I really am. And I know people say that in line, but to me, they just have disrespected so many female characters on the show consistently. And at this point, there's nothing about the show that makes me enjoy it. Like, I don't like Felicity and Oliver. They're very boring. Felicity is not a well-written character. The story is just not improved at all. Season 2 is still the best season, and we're on season 4, and they're just not doing anything. Like, even when the acting is good, even when the side stories can be decent, I never feel connected to it because I never feel like this is Green Arrow, or this is the Black Canary. Like, it never feels like it invested itself in that world the way the Flash is. Like, there are a lot of problems with the Flash. I've said it time and time again, but at least the Flash is fun. And Arrow is never fun, and it's never as smart as it thinks it is. And the actors do a great job, but they're just, it's just shit. It's shit. And what they've done to Laurel is just completely disrespectful. It's sexist because of all the reasons I said before, and it just shows that they were never truly invested in allowing Laurel to be the Black Canary. And if that's the case, then they should have just never done her fucking character. And it's upsetting to me to have one of the big female superheroes for DC just be completely and utterly shitted on by this television show. And I can only hope that her death will mean that the character can be in a movie eventually, because I would love that. Preferably let her be in another Justice League movie. But at the end of the day, what we got for her was just completely and utter trash. And if they kill Laurel, I'm done with Arrow.